So today I'll be talking about the notebooks that I'll be using in 2024. So as you can see, there's 4 again. Funnily enough, I had 4 planners, and so 4 notebooks is kind of funny. And these are the 4 that I'll be using in 2024. Alright, and I don't use them every day. In fact, I don't think I use any of these every day. I probably only use them about once a week type thing, so that kind of makes sense. As I've got 2 bullet journals, and that's more than enough, really. So I'll just go through them all, starting with the Erin Condren. So this is just a scribble notebook. So I just have some scribbles, essentially, just any notes or note taking that I just want to do. I write in here. So this is some CA stuff that I was doing, and then just some accounting stuff that I was doing, so that's why. And I've removed things that I don't need. Since I'm still doing CA, I still need some of these sessions. Considering I'm an auditor, I'll probably always need these sessions, so that's completely fine. And there's my tea. I don't want to spill it. So yeah, that's what I use this notebook for. I just sometimes it's study, sometimes it's just things that I just need to scribble out before I write it somewhere that I'll need, and sometimes I just need it for a little bit. I'll just rip it off. So that's what that notebook is. It's like a scribble notebook. Then my next notebook is the complete opposite of a scribble notebook. It's my Commonplace Notebook. So I know a lot of people have jumped onto the Commonplace Notebook. I think there's a lot of definitions as to what that is. So I can talk more about my definition of what this is, but basically I just take it as this one quote, which is, "You are what you read, so who am I?" Right? So these are just, I love reading. So I love reading. I'm reading constantly. I read anywhere between 20 to 50 books a year. And I would read more, but I have a very demanding job, and I have children, and I have a husband who I actually like spending time with. So when you add all that, I don't have that much time to read. So yeah, these are just, and then I use the system that I use here. You might be wondering what this is about. So this is, I actually stole this from V, and how she does her essay writing during her essay crisis. So what she'll do is she'll read text, and then she'll write it in purple in her Word document, and then she'll write in black, just about what she wrote. So this will be the actual text, and then the reference, and then she'll write in black, thoughts on that text. And so that's how she writes her essays, and that's how I write my essays. Is I would just read text, read journals, get all the info, and then I'll start writing my own thoughts, and then basically the essay just writes itself somehow, and then I get 20 references, which professors really enjoy. So that's quite funny. So purple is your text, so direct text, and then black is my thoughts. So mainly, so you see this one. So what I've done is that there's some books, for example, this is the Daily Stoic, which I think every woman and her cat was writing and reading at some point. So what I do is I put in the back here, a few pages. I've got my reference list here. So number 1 is a Daily Stoic, Ride Holiday, Stephen Hasselman. And so I know 1, and then the page number, that's this book, and then that page number, and that's my reference there. So that way I'm not constantly writing the Daily Stoic. Now there are some that I know that I just need a one-off. So this was How to Lose the Time War. This is How You Lose the Time War. Look, don't read it if you don't want spoilers, but essentially it's a story of 2 spies who send each other letters. And so they send them in such convoluted ways. One was a poison letter, which was a berry. One was this bird shows up and coughs up a pellet, and then the spy cuts into it, and there's a letter in the pellet. This is where the goose shows up with a bag and 6 seeds, and each seed is a letter. It's quite interesting. And then my favorite bit is the last bit, which I've written. So yeah, if you don't want spoilers, don't read that bit. But that was my absolute favorite passage, I guess, that part, and it was such a great moment for me, and it was like the very last few sentences of the actual book. So I loved the ending. I loved how they put it all together, and I thought that was very interesting. And it wasn't until I actually wrote this all out that a lot of it got to do with birds, which is ironic. Like, I mean, it makes sense because they're letters, and birds were the ones who sent letters, but so many of these were sent by birds, so I found that very interesting. And then my absolute favorite Zen pencils, if you know, it's, yeah, this one was so like eye-opening. I even wrote like, this is such an eye-opener, like, you know, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. What? Just so great. It was just so great. I love that quote. So as you can see with these ones, because it was just like a one-off, I didn't mind writing the whole title and the author, and then writing what I needed to write. But when I know that I'm going to be writing a lot, so I'll just reference it at the back. So I've given myself quite a number of pages as references. So we'll see what happens. I probably don't need this many pages, but we'll see how many books come in here. So I usually write in this about twice a month. So I have read the Daily Stoic, as you can see. I've written some post-it notes and whatnot. I'm just going through it again just to reread and see if anything sticks and is gold. And keep it there. So that's my Commonplace book. And this is in a Nuna. Notebook. It's gorgeous. Not very fountain pen friendly, but that's what we're at. And that's my. I'm happy to talk more about this and how and what and where. I even started like a different one years ago. I've used a few. And this is where I ended up with, because I actually use this and think about it often. So yeah, highly recommend. Then my next one. So this is a J. Burroughs from Officeworks. It's a hardcover, hard case notebook. It's My Stream of Consciousness. I'm not going to say morning pages. So like this has been such an eye-opener. I love this. This is basically ineligible, like you can't read it, and I think it's such a great idea. Like if you haven't done this, it is so good. Like you can just get so much toxic thoughts out of your brain, just out of yourself, and just writing it like this. You can't read it. You can't read it. There's nothing there, but it just got so much negativity out of my body. It was so good. I highly recommend. So that way, like, no one can read it. Like, there's nothing to read here. Like, if someone picked this up and posted this in the front of the newspaper, it'd be like, there's nothing here. Like, you can't see anything. So I highly recommend. This is my Stream of Consciousness. I have not written much in there. Like, I think I've written that much. So I've got lots to go. Many years in here, which is really good. And, no arguments there. Happy with that notebook. And this one again, look, I like to say I use it once a week, but I don't. I probably use it once a month. This one, maybe once every 2 months. It's one of those things where they talk about like your journal shouldn't have too many negative things, and this one has a lot of negative things. This one has like a lot of anxiety and negative self-talk and imposter syndrome type things. It just has it all in here. It's just like, yeah, it's a very toxic notebook, but it has to happen. Like, it's just to get it out of my brain onto paper. Sometimes I write it and I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like, I read what I wrote, I'm like, that is the dumbest thing. Like, of course that's not true. Like, of course. Like, why am I'm obviously overthinking it. So it's very helpful. Though I know people sort of say don't write in your journals only when it's negative, because then you just got like a negative notebook. No, that's fine. And then this one here is what I call the money book. So this is my money book. It's basically, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a notebook where I talk and write about money. So there's a lot of things I know about money, being an accountant, being interested in wealth creation, just investing the amount Like I've invested in property, I've invested in shares, that type of thing. I pay attention to my super, all those good things. So it's just a notebook that I have that I just talk to myself about money. So there's a YouTuber called Clark Kegley, I think his name is, and he talks about like a 6-in-1 journal type situation. I did do that, which was quite funny. And then when I did my 6 themes and I did my 6 whatever and all that, but then when I actually like used it, I realized that the one that I needed the most was the money side of things. So my health is sort of in a different spot. It's in a digital system, so I've kept it there, and I'm happy for that to stay there. I'd rather keep it as a digital setup than an analog setup. My family, these are things that are like super important to me. That's like monitored through my goal planning and whatnot. But money, like when I'm actually like researching money or thinking about money or investing and that type of thing, then this is where it's at. Yeah, so I could talk about money. I could talk about money for a long time. So but let's just leave it there. But yeah, that's my money. My money book is where I talk about money and investing and thoughts and yeah, I guess it'd be like where I'm thinking, where I learn about new things. I'm gonna write there. So yep, that's my 4 notebooks that I'll be using this year. They're mainly empty. I don't really write as much as I wish I could and do, but I do read a lot, so that is something. That is something. So I'm hoping I'd like to say that I'd like to use up one of these notebooks. I don't know if I will. I'm hoping to use up one of my bullet journals this year, if not both bullet journals, and then maybe start another bullet journal in other Nuna notebooks, because I have way too many Nuna notebooks. I have way too many notebooks, full stop. But that is my system that keeps me relatively organized and half sane. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks, bye.